So there's this fine line in Battletech. Battle value. I mean, it could be C-bills, it could be tonnage. I think we use battle value, not that it's perfect, not that it doesn't have some stress points depending on the scale, the tech level, and what you're pulling in if it's combined arms. But this idea of a currency, you and I are sitting down to play, 4K battle value, 6K battle value, 8K. On a side note, sidebar, I like 4K for quicker, smaller games. Gives you enough to get some toys, play some interesting stuff, but yet still have to make some hard decisions. I think the sweet spot is 6 to 8K because now we can pull in some redundancy, right? 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is some. And we can get a little bit of everything, but that's a pretty big battle force. And of course, adjusting for clans. Clans is like, buy-in. I need like 8K just to start, to move it even higher and to play that. Although you could play some smaller clan games from that perspective. But this idea of battle value as a currency, we are trying to get the biggest bang for the buck. We are trying to look in and say, I could go in and go Steiner Recon Lance and just fill it out with assault mechs. I might take an assault mech, but I want to have a mix. I want to try and have everything covered. So we're always looking for that line where can I do it with something a little bit cheaper? We see this with mechs. There's this invisible line where you jump into the heavier tonnage, heavier spectrum light mechs, and then really cross over to the lower, lightly armored medium mechs. That line can be a little bit blurred. We see this with light mechs jumping into certain vehicles. Now, mechs do have advantages over vehicles, mobility and speed in terms of terrain and things like that. But again, when you get the lower battle value, it's you have some hovers that are significantly cheaper that can challenge light mechs, can really give them a run for the C-bills. So the question here is now, if we dial that down, and now we're jumping into the Scorpion light tank, exploring that, one of Quixel's best products. I do have a couple of Scorpions in the collection, but I was asking myself in looking at some of my older lists. Naturally, I'm a tank enthusiast. If you've been following my channel, I love tanks. This is the problem with Battletech. Limited battle value. Even if you give me 8K, I want a lot of mechs, but I want a lot of tanks. I mean, the only reason I got into historicals, World War II, late war, is so I could play all these awesome tanks. My Space Marine forces are mostly tanks. I like tanks. But I do have to admit, that's why I have the Scorpions. When I'm looking for lower games where I want to get some tanks in, or low BV battle value. But with the Scorpion tank, for what you get, I can lower the battle value even more and jump into infantry and field guns and save some of that battle value, which in a larger game, okay, it's probably not worth it just to try and manage more stuff. But in a small game, if I can shave off 150 to 300 battle value, that is significant, either in terms of upgrading some mechs or getting some more pieces on the table. What is that fine line? The essentially I'm paying the battle value for the Scorpion for a tank with light armor on a turret and a low echelon autocannon. I can get jump infantry for the speed, or just regular infantry, not even mech them up, but then it's not really compatible. But I can get field guns. I can get low caliber AC2, AC5 field guns, have that directional and really replicate the same. So outside of the narrative, what is that crossover line? Lower battle value, lighter vehicles, lighter tanks, lighter hovers. And in this case, we're looking at the Scorpion as an example, where if you jump, say back, or is it forward? If you jump that next line in exploring it and go to infantry, Fritz, your answer to everything is infantry. Yes, more infantry, but again, infantry with field guns and those supporting units, I can bring more to the table and save that battle value to put towards other units.